Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks so much for stopping by Books and Jams. It is Vlogmas day 16. I am going to do a bit of a mishmash of things for this video. I just came home from having dinner with a family that I used to nanny for 3 years. There's 4 kids in the family and we had a lovely dinner. And then I brought materials to make these pomander balls. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. And I realized I forgot to put the circle on this one, but I did a little design on mine. I'm going to be making these for my neighbors and I'm going to just do a single line down the middle of the ribbons, but aren't they so cute? And they smell so good. And it's just an orange with cloves and ribbon. It's super easy. So I made these with the kids. I broke all of them, but we also made chocolate covered pretzels. So that's fine because I'm going to eat them, but it was a really nice evening to just catch up with them and have dinner and chit chat. I was with them, like I said, for 3 years. So it was really lovely to connect with them. So here are some clips from our evening. Hold it up for me so far. Can you hold it up?
I'll go like this where the side is not showing.
Oh, you're almost done. You just have one more section. Yay! How does it smell? It's a video. How does it smell?
I think I'm like,
You're like, how long do I have to smile, Krista? Yeah. Does it smell good?
yeah.
Oh, making pomander balls and chocolate dipped pretzels.
A lot of chocolate.
Evelyn is having the time of her life. Chocolate!
Look at mine.
Rachel, show me yours. Whoa. Which one is your favorite so far?
Well, I really like that one.
The candy cane looking one?
And I don't know.
You've been very creative. Isaac, how are they going? You just really want a taste test, right? You got to make some to taste some. Hard at work. Okay, so this is my friend Rachel, who I used to babysit all the time, and she's lovely. Rachel is my reader, the reader of the family. There's Evelyn. What are you reading right now?
Penderwick's book 2.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Penderwick's?
Book
Oh,
2.
I love them.
You recommended that book, right?
Who recommended that book to you?
And I'm reading Land of Stories book 1, Land of Stories book 2, Land of Stories book 3, Land of Stories book 4, Land of Stories book 5, Land of Stories book 6, Tale of Magic.
You're reading all of those at the same time, or those are just your newest books?
I just read them.
Who showed you Land of Stories?
You.
And you flew through them, and I'm still on book 3. It's a sad shame. Show what you made. Show what we made tonight. Show yours. We made some
These are
chocolate,
mine. I love this one.
chocolate dipped pretzels. She made a candy cane kind of one. Oh my word! This is what's going on. The dude, Dandy Doodle.
Stop it.
All right, Evelyn, come here. Show me what you made tonight. Come here. Go. Okay, what did you make?
I made an orange with smelly things in it.
What are those called? Do you remember? Cloves.
Cloves. And the orange smells and the cloves.
And what color ribbon?
Ribbon was green and
Check. Green and white checkers. Checked.
green and white and then you tie it with a bow. And it's called pomanders.
And it smells. Let me smell it.
And it
Smells
smells.
so good.
And it smells really good.
Yep, smell it. Where can you put it? On your Christmas tree?
I'm gonna use it for
You're gonna wear it on a bracelet? I love it. Thank you for telling us.
Bye,
Wait, how old are you? And then there's Davis, who just had a birthday.
Stop.
How old are you now? Come here.
11.
Now he's 11. No, wait, come here. What do you ask me every time I see you?
How many subscribers do you have?
He cares about my numbers. He's checking. He always checks in on me to make sure that I'm growing. All right, Isaac, you want to come up and say hi real quick? Show Dandy.
Hey, pick up the dog.
All right, Evelyn, let Isaac have a turn. All right, who's that? Dandy and Isaac. Isaac, how old are you? 7
100.
and 32 years old. And there's Dandy Doodle Lion.
I'm
Right?
1 year old.
The dog of the family, the little brother. So these ornaments we made last year or 2 years ago.
Beautiful.
They're really pretty. Which one is the one that you made?
I don't know what I made. I've only made this one because it's got an
It's got an E.
But I stringed them all just to show my mom paid me. And,
Oh, nice. They look so pretty all together there. And it smells really good. Cinnamon dough ornaments. Dun, 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 dun. We'll get it. Before I get into my mid-month wrap-up, which is really what I want to talk about today, I have 2 more packages that have come in the mail. And so I just wanted to open them kind of as they come. Instead of doing a whole separate book haul at the end of the month, I'm just going to kind of share things as they come, maybe. So first of all, I'm so excited about this one. Where did the tag go? This first package that just came today is from Chloe. She says, Krista, Merry Christmas. Thanks for being a lovely, positive light on BookTube. Guys, I already opened this. She gave me book 6, Nightfall, in the Keeper of the Lost Cities series, and book 7. Holy chunkamunga book. But it's book 7. I'm really excited. Thank you, Chloe. That's so, so nice. I'm reading this series through 1 a month with Amy Bowman. And we took a couple months off because things just got a little crazy. November and December we took off. But we're going to be starting back up with book 5 in January. And now I have book 6 for February and book 7 for March, which I'm not sure I'm going to want to read this during middle grade March, but we'll see. It is middle grade, so it does fit. So thank you, Chloe. I'm so, so excited to have those. And then the other day I got a package that came in one of these lovely bags. And this one is from Kathy. Just bought a copy for myself and thought you would love one. Also, Merry Christmas, Krista, from Kathy Stevens. Kathy, you're so kind. Okay, let's see what's in this one. Tissue. And the book, which is, what is it? Oh, cool. Oh, yes. Pages & Co. The Book Smugglers by Anna James. I think this is book 4. Or is this book 3? I can't remember now if this is book 3 or book 4. Did I buy myself book 3? Yes, Map of Stories is book 3. So I've read books 1 and 2, The Book Wanderers and The Lost Fairy Tales. I bought myself the Map of Stories after I finished book 3. And then this is book 4, which just came out recently. So thank you, Kathy. I'm so excited. All the middle grade love today. I am a big fan. So thank you for your kindness and your generosity and for making me have a smile on my face when I get home or get a text from my brother that says, you got a package. Like, yay! It's so thoughtful of you. What I'm going to do for the rest of this video is tell you about the books that I read during the first part of December. And it's amazing to me that I've even read any books with all the videos that are going out and editing and all that needs to be done for videos. But I've read a few things so far. Let me pull up my list because I feel like a couple were audio and I don't want to forget anything. If you remember, in my December TBR, I picked some recommended books out of my vase, which is over on the shelf over there, which are books that were recommended to me by some of my patrons. And I had 5 that I picked, and I've read all 5 of those so far, as well as 2 extra Christmas books. Have I read 7 things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've read 7 things so far. That's a normal month. How is it that I've read my normal amount? Before I get into those 5, let me first tell you about the Christmas books I read. One of them was my patron book club book, The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. This is a YA retelling of A Christmas Carol. So Scrooge and the ghosts and the whole 9 yards. In this one, we follow Holly Chase, who at the beginning is super annoying. And I know a lot of people who have not been able to push past the beginning part. But if you think about Scrooge, he was not a friendly character at the beginning of A Christmas Carol either. He was kind of awful. And Holly is very awful in a teenage angst, spoiled rich girl, privileged, snotty, selfish kind of a way, which was a perfect Scrooge. She has a Scrooge experience. She kind of blows off the whole Scrooge experience. She has the ghosts of Christmas past and the ghosts of Christmas present, the ghosts of Christmas future, and she just rolls her eyes through the whole thing. She's super annoying. But because she doesn't respond to their opportunity, she dies. and then is forced to work for Project Scrooge and become the ghost of Christmas past, giving other Scrooge-type people the chance to change their lives. I really enjoyed how clever this book was. I loved every time there was a tie-in to A Christmas Carol, which is a very familiar story. I just got so excited when there was something that matched up with that original story. I did like the journey that Holly went on throughout this book. There is a romance that's a bit insta-lovey and a bit, oh, he's so hot. But I just thought it was a fun Christmassy read. If you enjoy A Christmas Carol, this might be a fun way to revisit that story in a different way. If you're prepared for all the YA-ness of it all. I thought it was fun. I had a great time with it, and I gave it 4 stars. The other Christmas book that I've read so far was totally in a different field than that, and that is The Christmas Sisters by Sarah Morgan. I know Sarah Morgan has written a lot of romance type books, but this one is definitely more women's fiction as we follow these 3 sisters. So they come back together for Christmas time in Scotland. So this takes place in Scotland. There's a stepmother who has raised these girls for most of their life, and these 3 sisters who are all very different and have dealt with grief in very different ways. And in this story, they all kind of learn to have a new understanding of each other and the way that each of the others has dealt with the experiences of their lives. And they have been very close, but have all held back from the others as well. So I just thought that this was a really beautiful story. It was very snowy and cold and heartwarming as these sisters love each other, but have their tense moments as well. It felt very realistic to me, and I really loved it. So I think I also gave this one 4 stars. Very different 4 stars from Afterlife of Holly Chase, but I did really enjoy this Christmassy read. Now we are moving on to the other 5 books that I read are all books that I picked out of the jar. So I did read Sherwood by Megan Spooner. This has been on my TBR for quite a long time, and this is a YA retelling again of Robin Hood. But in this one, Robin Hood dies very early on in the book, and Maid Marian, his betrothed, she kind of becomes Robin Hood for a little while. Her eyes are kind of opened to the plight of the poor in this world, and she is able to do something about it now as Robin Hood, which she would not be able to do as Maid Marian, this woman of the court, if you will. She finds a lot of freedom. She's a sharpshooter. She's just a very cool woman in this, but doesn't see things quite as clearly as she thinks that she does. So I really enjoyed this one as well. I listened to it. I started it in print and then I switched to the audio because audio was just the way I've been feeling this month. But yeah, if I did half stars, this would probably be 3.5, but I just rounded it up to 4 because I give everything a 4 these days, it seems like. Oh man, that was a lot of fun though. The one that I just finished most recently is The Memory Collectors by Kim Neville. I absolutely loved this book. I just thought it was so different and unique. In this one, we are following 2 women who have this ability to hold an object and get a sense of feeling about it, whether it's memories or what kind of emotion this object has experienced or brought to someone's life. These 2 women deal with their ability very differently. So the younger woman calls objects that hold memory stains. She says these objects are stained because she comes at it from a very negative perspective based on events that have happened to her when she was a child. And so she tries her best to avoid stains. She doesn't want anything to do with them. She learns how to build a bubble around her mind to protect herself from feeling these emotions. Because not only can they identify the emotions, but they feel the emotions. So that's great when the emotion is joy and peace and love and family and belonging. But when the emotions are anger and shame and guilt and bitterness, to feel all of that all the time would be really difficult. So she wears gloves and lives in brand new apartments and keeps moving so that she can avoid stains at all costs. But then this older woman is basically a hoarder and is a collector of bright items. She calls them bright things things that shine with the emotion. And so she keeps the good, the bad, the ugly. Like she keeps anything that she can find that has a brightness to it. So these two women's storylines intersect, obviously, and it's just very cool the way that they learn from each other and grow from it. Ev is the younger woman, and she has a younger sister who also, reeling from the events of their past, is prone to running away and avoiding life, her sister even, and then becomes really obsessed with learning more about the past and forcing her older sister to deal with events of the past. I did only give this 4 stars. It was leaning towards a 5-star, but there was a couple things at the end that I didn't feel like we got answers to. And not that everything needed to be wrapped up in a big bow, but there was just, especially the storyline between the sisters, I felt was the ending of that storyline was a little bit lacking. I loved the ending of Ev and Harriet's storyline, but when it comes to Noemi, I just wanted a little bit more of closure of that storyline. So 4 stars, but it was really cool, very different, and very interesting. So thank you. I never would have come across this if someone didn't recommend it to me. I had never heard of it before. So very cool, that one. The first book that I read this month was actually one of these, and it was one of these recommendations, and it's Why the Sky is Blue by Susan Meissner. This one was an emotional book. Claire is a married woman, and at the very beginning of the book, she is assaulted, which leads to a pregnancy. And the whole book is kind of about her and her family dealing with what to do about this child. Her husband, Dan, doesn't think that he can be a father and truly love this child, knowing the harm that it brought to his wife. Claire herself kind of does immediately feel a love and a bond to this child, regardless of how it came into the world. So it's just a lot of really difficult decisions, and talking about adoption and that assault, and how to walk through these incredibly painful things as a Christian family. So this is a Christian fiction. Susan Meissner, I would say, is a Christian author, but most of her books are more just historical fiction and not really focused on faith. It's always an element in there, but it's not going to be as overt as other Christian fiction would be. This one was a little bit more overt in their conversations about God and their faith and prayer, and how God can help and bring peace and clarity to situations that are super difficult, like this one was. I really enjoyed this book as well. I gave it 3 stars. It was not my favorite Susan Meissner. I think she definitely continued to progress as she wrote more novels. But I am glad that I read that one. And then the other Christian fiction that I read from this list was At the Scent of Water by Linda Nichols. And this one is about another married couple, and right near the beginning, their marriage is kind of in shambles. He is a heart surgeon, very talented heart surgeon, and she has left him ultimately. And their lives are very, very broken. And where once their faith was really strong and a huge important part of their lives, they allowed work and life to kind of crowd out that time that they dedicated towards their walk with God. So when their marriage started to dissolve, they didn't have this natural instinct to turn to God because they had already kind of pushed him away. We follow these two people and where they go from here. And this one was much more faith heavy even than the Susan Meissner book was. However, I will say, recently I read a book by Lynn Austin. I don't even remember the name of it now. Also had something to do with water. I forget the name of it, but I just read it like 2 months ago, and it was eye-rolly, I said, because it was so cheesy and over the top, and the dialogue did not feel realistic. Whereas this one, At the Scent of Water, felt incredibly realistic. I could imagine these conversations being had. I could relate, not maybe exactly to the situation, but to the feelings that were being expressed. The main negative, I would say, is that there were so many characters that sometimes as I was listening to it, I'm like, wait a minute, who is that? Because we're following the husband and the wife in their different lives. And eventually when they come back to their hometown, and we're kind of learning about the hurts and the bitterness and all these things and all the people that they have in their lives. And there was just so many characters that I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know who this person is. I don't know how this person is connected. That's why it didn't get 5 stars, but it was a 4-star read for me. I did really appreciate this as a Christian fiction. It was not romance heavy at all. It just, it was this family story of this husband and wife and the struggle, major struggles in their marriage, and how it affected their walk with God, and how reconnecting with God made a difference down the line. But yeah, I really enjoyed listening to that one as well. And the last one that I have to talk about is The Lighthouse Keeper's Daughter by Hazel Gaynor. I loved this book as well. I think I also gave this 4 stars. Why do I give everything 4 stars? I just give it all 4 stars. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. No 5 stars yet this month. But yes, 4 stars for this one as well. In this one, we follow a number of different women who have been involved in lighthouses. We have 2 timelines, 1838 and then 100 years later, 1938. So in 1838, we're in England, and we follow this family, Grace Darling, and her family, who run a lighthouse. One night there's a storm and there's a shipwreck, and Grace on her watch notices people out on a rock. And so she gets her father, and they, in a very precarious weather situation, row out to try to rescue some of these people. And that's a major deal and totally changes their lives, because she's a woman. And that's just unheard of. Many women would never have made that choice to go and rescue people. They would have left it up to the men, even though she's like, I'm a lighthouse keeper. This is kind of what we do. But it changes her life forever. But then we're also following in 1938 in Newport, Rhode Island. We follow Harriet, who's the lighthouse keeper, and then Matilda, who is 19, lives in England, but gets pregnant, and her parents send her away to go live with this distant relative, Harriet, at the lighthouse in Rhode Island. So we follow these 3 women's stories. I just thought it was really cool to learn about lighthouses and how they work, and feeling of family and home. And there's a little bit of a romance in here that is a bit of a heartbreaking romance. It's just, I just really loved this book. I love Hazel Gaynor, and I've read 2 others by her. This is my 3rd one, and I have a couple more. They're right there on the shelf. I have a couple more of hers to read still on my shelf, which is exciting because I really did love this one, and I'm so glad that I picked it out of the jar. I've been rambling on for quite a while, so I'm going to try to wrap this up because I need to edit it and get it up and ready to go for tomorrow. I would love to hear what has been your favorite read so far of the month of December. Have you read anything Christmassy? Have you ever made a pomander ball before? It makes a nice little gift, and they smell so good. But let's chat down in the comments below. I love chatting with you down there, getting to know you and your reading tastes, and anything that you would like to talk about. Let's chat about it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you spending your time with me, and I will talk to you in another video very soon, tomorrow. Bye.